Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here for the Claim to Fame finale. We did it, Joe. We podcast 10 episodes of Claim to Fame, and we have our winner, and it is, drumroll, Elsie. Congratulations, the winner of Claim to Fame, and here to talk about everything from tonight's climactic finale. A woman who, unlike a Baptist deacon, is never nervous in the liquor store. It's Jenny Autumn.
Oh, wow. That is true. I'm never nervous, except for like the pressure of making decisions. I do have to, it's been a journey, Rob, like this whole podcast, this show, it's coming to an end. It's come to an end tonight, but I do have something that I have to admit. I have been hiding a "That's Amore" tattoo above my butt this whole time. It's been very easy to hide from you because when we're on the StreamYard, you can only just see from like the chest up, but it feels very good to get that out there. The "That's Amore" tattoo above my butt. It's been literally weighing on me. So feel a lot better already.
That's Amore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess, that when you see the butt, I guess that is truly Amore.
It is. That's what I've been told.
Yes. Okay. All right. And making his incredible return back to podcasting with us, Jenny, much like the evicted house guest, please welcome back Chappell.
Rob, Jenny, I'm back. We're back. It feels good to be reunited with the Joe Millie gang, the Edge Lords, the Edge Ladies. What do we call these? The Fame Whores? What are we now? That's what we are?
Did we land on a name?
Yeah, I don't know if we said the Fame Whores or the Claim Whores, or I don't know, the Proclaimers someone suggested. So either way, the best people.
We back.
Well, Jenny, this is awkward because I knew you had, your tattoo, but I have the same tattoo. Rob's seen mine though. Same spot.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you've been showing ass and not. I wasn't there.
Yeah, but the thing is, on Chappell's, that the A is really small. I thought it said "that's s'more."
That's more.
It's glow in the dark ink because it's dark. So you could see it. I'll stand up again. Is it cool? I could just. There's a video, right?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And really and it says that's more. But I at first I kind of thought it said that S more, and I thought it was about Sam Moore.
My God.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
That one's on the front.
S more. Yeah,
that one's not on the back. That one's on the front.
Okay.
Around my belly button, like Tupac.
All right. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about the Claim to Fame finale. What a great season. I thought this was a really, really fun finale with everybody coming back. Chappell, just overall, your thoughts on this show that we've watched over these last 9 weeks and 1 day.
I didn't really like it. No, I'm joking. I mean, everybody every week comes on here and says, this show is actually good. It's like, yes, we know. This show is great. I was stunned like everybody else was. You think on episode 1, you're going to get some level of strategy maybe, or maybe you just come in thinking, well, if nothing else, Simone Biles' sister is here. So that's an easy guess for all of us. But then she lasts a few weeks. You get all this other strategy. People are blocking other people. There's alliances in the rooms, roommates, and all this other stuff. And then the strategy just evolves until you have this amazing show. I don't think there was one dud of an episode. I think literally all of them were decent or to great television. So I liked it. I'm ready for season 2.
Yeah. I don't think it's official yet, but it's been a really fun ride. Jenny, what did you think of the finale?
It was so good. I was like I wasn't on a seat, but if I was on a seat, I would have been on the edge of it. No, I was really, really happy with it. Like I have thoughts, I have feelings, but the whole thing was very, very entertaining. I had no idea we were going to go, like, we have been discussing like, oh, take more from Survivor than Big Brother, maybe. And they said, okay, here comes the gross food challenge. I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
there was
the gnarly food challenge.
Yeah, I was very pleased that my prediction of getting to see the eliminated players come back, and to find out that they had been sequestered, like that was wild.
Who knew? Who knew? Oh my God! Now, okay,
all of them except for Max.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, he had his phone. Yeah. He was
There's
tainted.
no point.
Yeah. Okay. So, first off, let's just say, like a mea culpa here, to open things up. I know if you listen to our episode 9 coverage, we got a lot of mentions today of like, hey, Rob, you idiot. Because I said, I don't think that they're going to bring people back. There's COVID, and I don't think this is the kind of show that's going to sequester. It's like, it was in the preview, moron. That's a moron. Because didn't you watch it? Didn't you watch the trailer? Okay, and now let me come clean about something. Let me reveal something about me. Okay, thanks to the people at ABC,
great people,
we're able to watch the episodes and record the podcasts a couple days early this season.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Scandal.
Look, this is a big time podcast.
Scandal.
Okay. This is a big time podcast, Chappell.
You on that Maxwell shit. See, that's what I'm talking about. We don't do that.
No.
You gotta play by the rules. You can't get the episodes early. Now don't get me wrong. I too have seen these episodes early because of you. But for the rest of us, we don't appreciate this.
All right. And I'll be honest also. Okay. We're recording this podcast like an hour before the finale is even going to be on.
Yeah.
Because we want to get the podcast out quick.
Yeah. Isn't it nice to have the show end? And it's like, if you're amped up and you're like, I need to hear people talk about this.
Yeah. People's like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much because that your podcast was up right before when the episode ends.
Yeah. The amount that I have had to hold back on things. We've had to act like things from the future and the past. It's like I never know what day it is anymore. This has been a whole experience, and just like getting the tattoo thing off of my chest, this is like the weight off of me that now everyone knows that we don't always get the same previews and the commercials and everything.
Yeah. So we didn't see the preview. We didn't see the preview for the finale. So, but then when it happened, oh my God, I was so geeked up that there was like, I'm like, oh, they're all back.
Yeah.
Hey, it's everybody.
Yeah.
It was great.
I agree. We had reason to believe that they would not be coming back because we heard Amara saying, Gorilla Gang, I'm outside. They were like, man, come back inside. Come back inside. They're on the rocky talking like, somebody get Amara. Please. She cannot go home. Even was it X? It was like, are my things packed? I think my things are outside. And they're like, your things are back in the room.
X impression.
Yeah. They're going to the guest house.
I love X. That episode where he's talking about Brittany, he's like, she's diabolical. I hope later we can get some tea. Like, X, this is hilarious. Also, don't stop talking.
I forgot how much I loved his voice until we got to see it again. And hear it again. So good.
Yeah, literally perfect. And this is what I want. I want them all back together because I like the dynamic they had in the house. I would watch the reality show of them all, like the Surreal Life or the Real World, the version of these people just hanging out because I want to see it. When Brittany and X go to get tea, I want to see that. When Maxwell and X start hanging out, well, they can't hang out because he's so old. But but when these other people become friends, who knew LC, Keke Palmer, and Amara are going to be a team probably moving forward?
Yeah, what was that about? Where Amara is like, oh yeah, no, I hang out with Keke Palmer.
Check my Insta. She's got the receipts.
And how did she not know LC then?
I mean, I'm sure it was like, they were at an event and then like took a selfie together, and that she maybe doesn't actually know like Keke Palmer's like family history or anything enough to know that she potentially has a sister. I don't know. But that was like definitely like a twist where it's like, oh, okay. I was not expecting that you literally have a photo with one of the celebrities here.
They know each other, I was like, they do.
All right. I have a couple of legitimate questions about the finale, and then we'll talk about everything in greater detail. All right. First off, were either of you surprised that LC, based off of seemingly just Pepper saying the name Jason Aldean and then Lark mentioning Jason Aldean at one point, was it a surprise that LC felt confident enough to guess Jason Aldean as the final guess?
So here's the thing. I think that probably was enough because we saw the flashbacks to the other conversations where Jason Aldean's name came up. We've been talking about that. It came up from Lark in a conversation. It's obviously a recognizable enough name. I don't think that they were ever going to figure out Logan based on like this like year a single came out. Like none of those details ever mattered. The nail in his coffin was the birth name being Jason, having to have that revealed because, you know, people are just going to go, okay, what country music stars have the name Jason? And even though we didn't see it, I would not be surprised. We saw how supportive the eliminated players were of LC. We got a lot of rhetoric about people being bitter towards Logan. Like it wasn't a jury situation, but the way that they brought the eliminated players back, it like I don't know that it hugely influenced the end game because I think ultimately the challenge win, you know, influenced the end game there. But I would not be surprised if you know, all of the other heads being put there together talked it out and they're like, yeah, it's probably Jason Aldean. But what I did think was interesting and I think was like a sign of like respect to Logan that that LC and Logan worked so closely together that LC chose to not to have Logan eliminate Pepper instead of kind of giving herself like a fallback where she could have had Pepper be the guesser, guess on Logan. And if they were like, but if let's say she was between Jason Aldean and Luke Bryan, because we saw Brittany feed the Luke Bryan to her, she could have had Pepper guess Logan. And then if she was wrong and she has to, you know, she has to guess Logan, she's gotten one of those things taken off the table. So I thought it was really respectable of her that she was like, I'm going to like bring him as far as I can take him and I will be the person that guesses him. But I really do think that besides the one conversation with Pepper where she's like, the only person I can think of is Jason Aldean, I'm sure that like Dominique pulled her aside. Like they all seemed very supportive of her. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, what is the point of sequestering the jury if you're all just gonna let them all like put their heads together, watch a challenge, and then scream out the answers while it's going on? They're like, "Bitch, that's Keke Palmer. Are you kidding me?" You know. So it's like by the time they go to ask, you know, I'm really struggling with this. He's like, yeah, the 12 of us all put our heads together, and this is who we came up with. Now, Michael's gonna tell you something, but I mean, this is what we got. And so yeah, it made it look like it was resting on Pepper, but come on, I mean, I love Pepper personally, but. Come on.
Pepper.
Come on. Pepper. Let's just Pepper, girl. What the hell are you talking about? Throughout this season, Pepper has been wrong all the time. Pepper always wrong. Hashtag Pepper always wrong. Should have been like the subtitle to this because I was like, whatever she tells you is wrong. And then when LC has to go ask, I'm like, well, she's right this time, but. I think the correct answer would be to not believe her. At this point, no one would judge you if you just said Pepper's wrong. I can't go with it. So I'm sure there was other supporting evidence behind Pepper's back.
So
especially because like, you know, I you know, I understand Brittany trying to help Logan out and the Luke Bryan thing is great because of the American Idol clue, the fact that he is on American Idol as a judge, but like you just got to use logic and you're like, why is someone whose birth name is what is it, Jason Williams, changes their name to Luke Bryan? like isn't that just the same idea? So you have like just I think you can logic it out, and as long as you have someone that has like enough name recognition of like names in country, at this point you have the context that it's somewhat more recent with the 2005 thing. Like I have to imagine even Lark was the person that said Jason Aldean. You know, I don't think that it was truly up to Pepper and her information. If anything, she just kind of helped confirm that this was the worthy guess.
Yeah, I want to go back to something that Jenny brought up about how that LC gave Logan the shot to take out Pepper and come in second place. I really wish that they would have given us some sort of a confessional to help explain what went on there. We sort of got like the like sort of like Marvel movie like bonus scene at the end of the episode where we got to see just how close Logan and LC are. But Chappell, was that confusing for you too to see why she did it that way instead of letting Pepper guess Logan?
No, I didn't even think about it. I was watching in the moment thinking I was like so far ahead. I was like, okay, well, what's going to happen next? So where I was like, whatever, guess who? I don't care because I in my heart, I think I knew it was going to come down to LC and Logan. I don't know if they had winners edits per se, but it just kind of felt like it was supposed to happen like that. Like this is what you needed in your final two. So I didn't think about it. But when Jenny brought it up, I was like, yeah, why wouldn't you just use Pepper to get like a freebie out the way? Because we know Pepper's going to be wrong. But she didn't. She gave Logan the chance to go to the final two, which, I mean, on the one hand, it worked out for her, but also the jury was bitter with a question mark toward Logan. and I'm not quite sure why, because it seemed like Logan and LC played very similar games, but for some reason they had a lot more vitriol for him.
Here's the thing, though. For once, I must say that, a man and woman that were working together and perhaps deceiving people, maybe playing a little dirty at times, for once, the woman is not the one getting dragged and not being like, I don't respect you. You're a mother. You never should have lied to me. I feel like this is almost unprecedented. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that the majority of the eliminated players are also women and that they're like, game, respect game, like love a strong woman, win this money for your kids. But I thought it was very interesting that, like you said, Chappell, like these two made a lot of their moves together. Like Elsie was lying to all of these people as well, and they just, for whatever reason, her social game was better. She did it in a way where they walked away being like, damn, you got me. You were playing a better game than I thought you were, and I thought you were playing a pretty good game as it was. Like, I respect that. And there was just something about the way that Logan moved that made them feel a little icky. And that stuff comes down to like little things, interactions, things they said, ways they said it. And I'm totally okay with the fact that for once the woman doesn't get like the flack for all of that, because I feel like in so many cases in these, social strategy shows, like that men get applauded for things when the woman does the same thing and they get completely tore down by the jury. So I'm totally fine with this outcome, and I'm saying this as someone who loves me some Logan. So I think it was totally great. But yeah, it was very interesting that these two worked, like cohesively the entire season, it seemed. And jury had, not jury, but like the eliminated players had differing feelings about how they were handled by them.
One of the other things that happened in the episode that I felt like could have used some more explanation, Logan ends up having a talk with Michael. And Michael says, okay, I am going to give you something. Okay, we don't get to hear what Michael gave to Logan Chappell. Do you think that Michael gave Logan a correct answer or gave him misinformation?
I think he gave him the correct answer. I think Michael probably is a little salty at the rest of the house. The same people who are salty at Logan, Michael's probably upset with them because Michael was one of the first people that the house aligned against. Matter of fact, he was. So the first episode, of course, Maxwell is eliminated. But in the very second episode, they're all coming together and saying, "Oh, we really think this thing happened." Matter of fact, in the Maxwell episode, they left him out of the vote. He had no clue that everybody would thought that Maxwell was Steven Spielberg. He didn't know about the clue wall or anything. So he comes in the second episode. He's trying to work his way in. He's not doing a good job. They're like, "We don't like you." So I think when it finally came down to it, he probably was going to give Logan, the shot to win. Michael feels like the type of person who would want that on his mantle. Like, yeah, I helped you out. And so it could have turned out pretty bad. Yeah, it could have turned out pretty bad, honestly, with Brittany throwing him off the scent and then Michael helping Logan as well. This could have been a disaster for LC, but it still worked out. Rob, I do have a theory, though, about the social game aspect. So I was saying that, they played similar games, LC and Logan, but maybe it's because nobody knew who Logan was. And so he didn't have to actively deceive them. They're just like throwing random country western singers at him. He's like, yeah, sure. Whatever. Yeah, no, that's not me. Whereas like LC is actively lying to people. Like, oh yeah, Forrest Whitaker, that's my daddy. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson, that's him too. She's doing that throughout the entire game. So they thought they had her clocked and they were all wrong. Whereas with Logan, they never thought they had him. They were just like, you got lucky. You have the most, like the least notable, and no disrespect to Jason Aldean, even though if I want to disrespect him, I will. But I think they were just saying like you have the hardest one anyway, so you didn't have to do as much deception as maybe LC or Rob. Does that track for you?
Yeah, that definitely tracks for me. I think also LC just had like better relationships in the house. I think he got along. I think she got along with more people in the house. Like when a lot of the women were hanging out, and maybe Logan didn't have as many friends in the house. Like he basically like had like social game with LC, and then LC had like really good like relationships with everybody else in the house.
Yeah, and I think that definitely like to what Chappell is saying, where not only was Elsie like actively doing things to help guide people in the like wrong direction on her, she was also very good at like figuring out other people. And we saw that with Logan as well, but like Chappell is saying, like he didn't really have to do much in terms of misdirection because no one really knew anything. They're like, you are related to a country singer. That does not help me. I don't know them. And so he really did benefit from that kind of situation and, just what these people know about. So I think that has something to do with it. And I mean, I don't know if this matters, but we saw, I think that he played up the dumb thing a lot. And even though he clearly doesn't know a lot about some areas of pop culture, as we saw in his performance in a lot of these challenges, he's not a dumb guy. He's young. He might not know a lot of stuff because he's younger. But I think that also kind of plays into people's perception of him as well, as they're like, hey, you got lucky. You're related to a country music artist. None of us happen to no country, but Elsie actively like totally snowed us and had us like fully believing it was somebody else. And like, that's just more of an active game.
One of the things that I noticed in this episode, and I want to get your take on this theory, is that the screen that they are looking at is, I think, just a dummy screen. I don't think it's there because the reactions that like I think it's a green screen, or it just like gives them like reactions like applause or like the thumbs up or something, because it's not what we're seeing, because there's no way when they put like LC guesses Jason Aldean and they put Jason Aldean's none of these people know who that is.
No, that's Guy Fieri in a cowboy hat. What are you talking about?
They don't know who that is. And then just on See the Face, they're all going nuts and cheering. Like, yes.
Rob, you're right, I think, because when we watched this, Phil said they must tell them ahead of time, like to it's him. Like there's no way they're looking at this picture of Jason Aldean and being like, if you didn't even know who Jason Aldean was, when you see a picture of this white man in a cowboy hat, how is that going to tell you that it's right?
Same thing with Dean Martin. They put a picture of Dean Martin up there, and they all cheer. It's like, actually, no, they could put a picture of Ronald Reagan up there. It's like they don't know.
Wasn't
they know what Dean Martin looks like.
Didn't somebody say Ronald Reagan?
Maybe.
Yes, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I agree. But you mean to tell me that nifty curtain thing that goes back isn't real? This whole time, I was like, wow, this is so cool that they do this. But I'd imagine that they see the picture and then the producers are behind them, like with a thumbs up, like yes, and like, oh yeah, okay, girl, or somebody announces it out like over the loudspeaker or something. They're like, oh, Jason Aldean, wow.
It does seem like the Jonases react first, so maybe they're just like, we're waiting for the Jonas Bros to react to know whether we're like, oh,
as if Frankie knows. He's looking at Kevin to react. It's like a game of telephone. Frankie's like, yeah, and Frankie like, yeah, okay, what he said. That sounds about right.
Yeah, because Frankie Jonas definitely doesn't know who Dean Martin is. Kevin Jonas was acting like he knew who Dean Martin was.
He might.
He
have.
might. I mean, I don't know if you're like a musician, if you are like, I don't know, it's very possible he knows who Dean Martin is.
He's the eldest
possible.
Jonas, right? So like, I think he's been around for a while.
Mhm.
What is he, like my age?
Probably somewhere between yours and mine. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, I'm
He's
gonna
in
have
that
to look
range.
up Kevin Jonas's age and be sad. Good lord. What have you
Mhm.
done, Chappell?
Yeah.
You didn't grow up with the Joe Bros, Jenny? You wasn't a Joe
No,
ho?
I was too old for it. This is what I'm talking about.
For the Joe Bros? I was
He's
too old.
younger than me.
Is he older than
You
me?
just called me old, Chappell.
No, I did. I said we old. We is old.
Okay.
Chappelle,
Anyway.
how do you feel about the Jonas Brothers hosting the show?
They were great. I don't know what took us so long to get this. Frankie and Kevin are a great team. I don't know if this works with the other Jonases. Like I don't know if you could put whatever their names are, Billy, Joe, Chris, the other Jonases, the bonuses. Yeah, I don't know if it works with them, but these two Jonases played off each other quite well. Also, they was dressing. I know people were upset about that sweater. I liked that crazy Cosby sweater thing that he was wearing. It was nice. It had the glitter in it. I thought that was pretty cool. He had that purple suede, like that purple crushed velvet jacket that one time. He was all up in Urban Outfitters just making it rain. You could tell. So I appreciated the Jonases for what they were. I'd like to see them host other things.
Frankie had a wild suit and another bolo tie. That seems to be like one of his signature looks, the bolo tie.
Yeah.
He
Nails painted.
rocks it well. Like I love Frankie the individual. You can, I was saying this before, you can definitely tell that he's like, this is my chance to be me. And like, like I've been in the shadow of my brothers and now I'm the host of a show and I am going to rock some cool outfits. And I just love it for him. He's great. The floral suit was incredible. Kevin was like baby blue suit. Like I love that they always go for like different things, but they just work so well together. Like I would be very, very disappointed if we get a season 2 and it doesn't. Like
No way.
don't
It's a package deal. It's a package deal.
do that. It's
Yeah.
just you can't.
Nobody's getting Dunkelman.
No, you don't think they
Better
could swap
not.
it in for a more popular Jonas? I mean, there are other Jonas options, Rob. It doesn't have to be Kevin. Because Frankie's got a spot.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin is definitely the oldest Jonas, right?
Mm-hmm.
See,
Elder
and
Jonas.
I like the dynamic that it's the oldest and the youngest, and like their little they already have like a little banter after like hosting together. Like you can't take Kevin out and throw in Nick or Joe. You just can't do that. I'm sorry, you can't.
But Nick is getting jealous, and so he's gonna want it.
He's
gonna want this
gets jealous.
Yeah, see, Nick's coming for that spot. I'm sorry, you can't tell me different.
Remember 2 minutes ago when you didn't even say Nick as a name
what was
for
the name?
Jonas?
Ahmad. Yeah, what are their other names? Leon Jonas. Leon Nicholas Jonas. That's his full name. Y'all didn't know that. That's an insider just for y'all.
Oh, wow. Didn't know we had a Stan on the panel.
I'd love to talk through the challenge for the finale, which I just thought it was such a perfect challenge for the finale. I really liked it. Jenny, we wrestled all season with what are they going to do in the finale. Did you like this game, Truth or Dare, that they ultimately played?
I loved it as a game because I loved that there were 2 different ways you could take it, and I liked that we got to see people go 2 different ways. So you have the try to get as many points as possible and just try to win the challenge by telling the truth about everything, getting all the points, or if you think that answering these questions is going to hurt you and your best move is to be unguessable. And truly, I feel for Logan because, man, I feel like they were very, very harsh on like the checking of the mouth in all of the eating that he had to do, because he went for the dares. Like I loved that there was incentive to do the dares, and that, if you were in a situation like Logan's where they're not on to me yet, but they definitely will be on to me if I answer these questions, my best move here is defense. But then there's the other question is, could have Logan, maybe should he have just tried to go for it and been like, taking the same journey that LC was taking and just saying like, okay, they're gonna know who it is after this, but if I win, then it doesn't matter. I just don't know, like, if we had gone a 3-way tie because all of them told the truth, is Logan eating those bugs the fastest?
Maybe.
He might have.
Yeah. Chappell, yeah, Jenny brings up an interesting point. Yeah, they were weirdly specific about checking the mouth on the dare, but weirdly very unspecific of break 12 eggs over your head, which he clearly did not do.
Was not on top.
Forehead is a head, and he was at
but like they said over your head. Break 12 eggs over your head, not on your face.
Over your face. He did it. He didn't want to mess up his hair. I think egg yolk is probably not that bad for your hair, so he would have been fine. It still got in there. But yeah, I think Jenny makes great points. And I do have to question whether or not. At first, when I was watching, I was thinking, Logan, just do truth like everybody else. Like, what? Like, even if you told these people, you could have named Jason Aldean's 7 albums or whatever, and none of these people would have known except Brittany.
No.
But the one time he does do truth, and they're like, what is your relative's birth name? He's like, Jason. And they're like, yeah. The next question is definitely going to be like, and does his last name rhyme with Aldean? So they got very specific with those questions. They really did.
He got screwed on that one because that was the problem with if you were unsuccessful in the dare.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm kind of upset with it, because it's like, it's not like he saw the dare and was like, I'm not going to do it. I will let the truth be exposed. He tried. He just didn't get it down in time. Like, that sucks. I think I don't know. I think that he sort of got hosed here, and that particular, I don't know if that was the scorpion or if
that was
the hot stuff.
Hot sauce.
Was that the hot stuff? Okay.
Yeah, there's no. He started throwing up the hot stuff. It was the scorpion. You're right. Because he vomited the hot stuff up, and they were like, "That's no good. That's no good." I was like, on Survivor, that would have been fine. That would have been fine. You did it. Whatever. Same thing with the scorpion. I saw it in there. It was fine.
Yeah, it seemed fine. So I wonder, would it be more fair, and this isn't exactly what you're talking about with the dare, but should the people get to see the question before it gets read? Because my biggest problem was for LC, actually, that they asked LC the question, what was your relative's character name in Aquila and the Bee? And to me, like, that's a lot of information just from the question of that you were your loved one, like, was in the movie Aquila and the Bee. I know she had the bee costume and they did the lie detector, but I don't know if they officially knew that their loved one definitively was in that movie. There's only a couple of leads in that movie. Like, I feel like they should get to open the envelope, see what the question is, and either hand it in for truth, or like, no, I got to do the dare.
Yeah, it's like looking at your cards and deciding whether you're going to play or fold, like, So, and then that is the other thing is so from what I understand, there were 4 envelopes with the questions in it, and it seemed just random. They would just pick one and then Kevin would open it. Like, I don't know. I think that knowing ahead of time could help in the decision, but I just think for Logan, like, once you decide to do one dare and you can tell the other 2 are going for truth, it's like you have to just keep going for the dare. Like, there's no going back now. You're never going to get the points anyway. You just have to hope that you can complete these dares properly and prevent as much information as getting out as possible. But I don't know. I loved the challenge as a concept, but I did feel like, I'm not going to go as far to say Logan was pushed, but I didn't see any proof in his mouth that the scorpion was not completed. And I just felt like it was the rules felt a little bit strange. And like, one of the questions was so weirdly worded. I had to go back and watch it like 3 times because I was like, what are they asking? It was the one your relative was in a Ryan Murphy TV series, but it was like which one? But the way they worded it was like your relative was in a Ryan Murphy or TV series. Which one?
I believe that's horror TV series.
Oh, that's what he was saying was horror?
Yeah. And so the answer was Scream Queens, not
Kevin,
or.
baby, you need to enunciate, sweetie pie. I did not know. I literally watched it like 4 times and I was like, is he saying or? Like, is he giving me a choice? And Phil was like, I think he's just saying like which TV series.
Yeah.
Phil was like, disregard.
Scream Queens, I believe, was an Antonio Mazzaro favorite.
Okay, so
I hope I'm not misremembering that. Yeah.
My issue with that question was the way it was answered. See, I'm here to speak up for all the people who are at home saying, Elsie, why are you giving so much information? They said just answer the question. She goes, she was in Scream Queens. Why you have to say she? I'd have been he, they, something. I mean, I get you have to tell the truth, but they works.
Yeah.
Well, these pronouns exist for a reason, baby. Call them they. There was another moment too where they said, what's your relative's birth name? And she said, no, what's your actual name? And she says, Lauren Palmer. I'd be like, Lauren. I'm sorry, last name? What was that? Whore?
Yeah, I was wondering that too, because I mean, I really assumed that Elsie made the decision. She's like, I'm going all in. I'm going to win this effing comp, and I don't care. I don't care what information gets out. And she almost kind of like, I'm trying not to be vulgar. She kind of just put it on the table, if you know what I mean. And was like, this is the biggest flex. Like, I am going to give you the most obvious information, but it's not going to matter because I'm going to win this thing.
The girls were out.
The girls were out. The puppies were off the leash. And I thought it was very interesting because I do think that the birth name question, she probably could have just said Lauren.
Yes.
But the fact that she was like Lauren Palmer, like she knows at this point, everyone's going to figure it out. But she's putting it on the table.
Yeah. I think that she's like, look, okay, I'm going heads up against Pepper. No way I'm losing this. I got this.
I mean, yeah.
Pepper doesn't even know the answers to her own questions.
Yes. You still think Martha Stewart out here screwing Drake or something like that. I don't know. Like, Pepper girl,
it was just a rumor, Chappell.
But it wasn't, though, Pepper. You started that rumor, damn it. Yeah. You did that.
Pepper is TMZ. I can't believe it.
She was like, girl, yes, you don't remember that? Everybody's like, no. America is like, no. Canada is like, no. She's like, I don't know where y'all were, baby, but I was out there. I remember those days.
Yeah.
This is Pepper's fan fiction.
I did think that the dares got like escalated quickly from break 12 eggs over your head to I thought it was going to be do a shot of hot sauce, a spoonful of wasabi, or not horror, or eat this pepper. It's like, no, do all 3 in 60 seconds.
It was what was it? It was like a medley of
yeah. Chappell, could you have done that?
In a heartbeat. It was so funny. I saw it and I was thinking, yep, this is my challenge. This is the one. The eggs probably would have made it, but the hot stuff, give it to me in a second. Now, I did hear somebody yell that their booty hole was finna be done. And so I was like, yeah, that would slow me down. Not gonna lie to you, but yeah, I could eat the hot sauce.
I was like, was that me?
No, I think that was Amara like yelled it out for the crowd, like, y'all booty hole finna be done, homie. I said, Amara, please. Whoopi's watching.
I mean, you got to think about the booty hole later. You got to just go for it. But that would be a concern. Is like, how are you going to feel later? But in the moment, you just have to go for it. Like, I don't mind hot things, but I do think that it would be hard to not vomit. But from what I understand, like, it did seem like he was puking, but he would have been fine as long as he had finished the pepper. So even if he puked it up, as long as he got it down. I just wasn't really clear on the rules. So it's like when he started puking and then they were like, okay, yeah, sorry, you failed to complete the dare. Then they said, oh, because there's part of the habanero left. And I was like, but if he had eaten the whole habanero and then he just threw up into the garbage can, like, would he have still, like, I just wanted to see the rules. I can't believe I'm such a stickler for the rules.
That was too much in 60 seconds also.
He did it wrong. You start with the pepper, then you wash
Mm,
it down with the hot sauce, and then the wasabi that's cake. That's easy. That's a quick
yeah.
little lick off the spoon. Yeah, that's
It's
nothing. But
soft. Yeah.
yeah, that's
It's
easy
frosting.
peasy. Yeah, easy peasy. But I'm telling you, you start with the habanero, nothing's gonna be as hot as that. So when you
Yeah.
take the hot sauce, it's like when you eat something sweet and then you drink something sweet, you don't even taste the second thing. Yeah, that hot sauce would have went down like water. Ugh, I should have coached him up. I feel so
Yeah.
bad. Michael, what
Mhm.
were you doing? Just standing over there watching. You didn't even help our guy.
Mhm. Yeah, Michael didn't speak throughout that whole segment.
They didn't even let him finish what he
Mhm.
was gonna tell Logan.
Yes.
He barely got lines.
He had his lost in translation moment.
He had the worst showing of any of the celebrity relatives, I think. Like even Maxwell kind of came off kind of like, well, he was young and his grandpa's Chuck Norris. He'll never know. But I think Michael kind of got almost like a villain edit in a way where other people kind of got, strategic edits or something like that. I think they kind of made him look like a jerk. And maybe he is a jerk, but that's what we were presenting on the show, at least
Ask
from my point of view.
Zendaya.
Well, I
Yeah.
will give Michael this. He's like one of the few people on this cast that like their celebrity relative hasn't done something cancelable in like the last
That's
week.
fair.
So
Been a busy week.
Zendaya, I'm pretty sure has been good. She's been okay. I haven't seen her name on Twitter at any point in terms of headlines.
Mhm,
So
yep. At
got
least
that going for
one person from the Euphoria cast. Yeah.
yeah,
She
just one,
dodged
yeah.
that bullet like
I don't think
crazy.
she was
I mean,
at that party.
yeah, she's the only one. I'm talking about with this cast being who it was and all the things we've been hearing in the headlines. It's amazing that she's the only one from Euphoria who hasn't got a call. Because I mean, it's right there. I mean, at this point, they should just investigate her anyway, just to see what happens.
Mhm.
Just poke around, see, you might find something.
Yeah.
There's something to this cast, yeah.
I thought it was interesting. This episode started with basically like a day 39 breakfast, Jenny. Were you happy
Yeah.
to see the celebratory breakfast?
I love the mimosa toast. Yeah, it was I mean, I'm like always, I'm a soft bitch. I'm here for the friendships. I love seeing them get along. I love seeing how much they love each other. Chappell tweeted this recently. He hopes that they're all going to be friends after this. I feel the exact same.
Mhm.
Like, I of course I love a little drama, but I loved Logan hugging Elsie after she just like eliminates him, saying I love you. I'm so proud of you. Like I love these little moments. So yeah, the day 39-esque breakfast, that was very cute. Because it's like they had no idea what they're getting themselves into, and it's like may the best person win. Like that's good energy.
We didn't talk about the final dare, which ultimately ended in a tie between Pepper and Elsie. Chappelle, what did you think about the tiebreaker? Basically, deciding the game was who can eat bugs the fastest. Did you feel like, I know this was a truth or dare game. I know this was to win this game, but I kind of decided the whole show. It came down to who can eat bugs the fastest.
Yeah, we've talked about how great this show is, but I'd admit that there are parts where we could probably improve the show in ways if they just listen to us, And so maybe this show about deception and alliances and, hiding your celebrity relative and guessing correctly should not come down to can you eat 5 crickets?
Yes.
Because it has nothing to do with it. Like now, had you been talking about that since episode 1, and we knew that you gotta have you gotta have a thick stomach for this one, like, oh, okay, like, oh, that's what they've been saying. There's a clue there the whole time. But to just be like, yeah, we ran out of questions, bring in the crickets, and like, oh, I think I got them, and somebody's out like they're picking them out of the grass, like here are some. So yeah, I thought they kind of lost what we were here for. We were here for the guessing, for the reveals, and this was just like, nah, you can't eat bugs as fast, and that's okay.
And
So yeah, justice for Pepper. I think she was pushed.
everyone was pushed in one way at some point. I do think that like clearly the 5 bugs was like the 4th dare that like if Logan hadn't chose truth for one of his questions, like he would have been doing anyway. I think given
They
the
did
fact
have
that
2
like
sets of them.
yeah, well, I think that they probably had like one each in case all of them picked dares for each.
Yeah.
So they probably
Smart.
had 15 bugs somewhere. There was like whatever 36. Did I do math?
Look
right?
at you.
36
Yes, you did it.
eggs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But No, I completely agree that it's absolutely wild that we get down to a tiebreaker, and ultimately the most powerful thing here is the fact that Elsie ate bugs faster. Like that is ultimately, she did the groundwork to get herself there, and she made good relationships that possibly helped her get the information she needed to finish the job. But the role of final guesser, like that final challenge, is so much power that the fact that it was decided by bugs is absolutely bonkers to me. I think like it was ridiculous. So I was entertained by like the absurdity of it, but at the same time, there was just so much great strategy and like, I don't know. I just think that there was the challenges were really interesting. So much of the game was about like the clues and figuring things out. It's like, couldn't you have done any other kind of tiebreaker? Couldn't it have been like, again, I keep going back to the clue wall. We got no closure on the clue wall, which I had been saying I really wanted. Like, couldn't there have been a tiebreaker where it's like, how many clues on like the clue wall were associated with this person, or like having to name like something related to the people that had been eliminated, anything, questions, because clearly at this point, like this was their strength. Logan chose the dares, Pepper and Elsie chose the questions, and like let them show off show off in that way. I just thought it was so stupid to end with a bugged tiebreaker. Oh, like I'm happy with how it ended, but like, can we talk about the timeline if Pepper eats the bugs faster and she becomes the final? Like she's guessing Elsie as Lawrence Fishburne, right? Like Elsie's still winning, right?
Okay, so just talk that through. So then it would be, I guess it would be what? Pepper would be she would put, it would be Logan and Elsie would be the bottom two, and she would have to decide who was going to guess.
I guess if she gets the, if everything else in the timeline stays the same, we get the Jason Williams clue. If she does feel more confident about the Jason Aldean pick for Logan, perhaps she tries to have that be the person that she has to take out ultimately. But we had gotten so many confessionals about her saying it was definitely Lawrence Fishburne, but then we have the Kiki. So everything's revealed.
So I think it all works out the same, because I think that then she gives Elsie says, I think Jason Aldean and so she makes Elsie the guesser, and then Elsie guesses Jason Aldean. Logan goes out third. And then I think that Pepper must make herself the guesser, because I think she knows that Elsie knows who she is. And she guesses Lawrence Fishburne and loses. And
I love that
Elsie wins the show on the wrong guess. But it's so cool that somebody could win the show on somebody guessing wrong.
Right. Which would have been a fun way for it to end. I don't think that that's necessarily what they wanted, but then I have to keep remembering that like all of Elsie's answers gave away that she's related to Kiki Palmer. So perhaps Pepper was actually paying attention and did notice that and had gone off of the Lawrence Fishburne train at that point. But I do think it's really funny to think about Pepper eating the bugs quicker, and she does the final guess on Elsie and is wrong.
That's how I wish it ended. That's how I wish it ended.
That would have been the best story arc of the season. Like that would have been the bookend.
I'm sorry. That is not correct. Nuts.
Bookends, really.
So
Starting off wrong and ending wrong. But I don't think there's a world where Amara lets Pepper get up there and say the wrong answer. I think Amara pulls her to the side and shakes the hell out of her like an Etch-a-Sketch. It's like, girl, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
no,
shit, how many times does she have to say it? It's Kiki Palmer.
No, I think that everyone is like, this is going to be jokes. We're rooting for Elsie. Pepper is very easily influenced and wrong. I think Amara's pulling her aside and saying, no, she was lying.
I think Elsie could have spun her around, Chappell.
Oh, yeah.
I think Elsie could have said, no. I was
think
throwing
I would be
everybody
that
off.
Earnest with my answer.
No, my relative is Martha Stewart. Pepper.
I mean, that's why the star was in there.
Pepper was
that's how I knew it couldn't be Lark.
Yeah.
But my one true pair here really was Amara and Pepper. I love their alliance. I love when she went out and they're like, "You're not gonna say bye to Pepper." She's like, "I love you, Pepper." So I just like to think that would come back around, and pay dividends. But also, it is Pepper, so you never know.
Mhm.
Well, and it
but-
just felt like the commentary about Pepper in the final 3 was like, we just got X saying that she was a cockroach a lot. Like
Mhm.
the narrative around her was like, you just
But you
can't
couldn't eat one.
get rid of her. It wasn't like we're really rooting for Pepper to win. So even though Amara had like a close friendship with Pepper, I have to feel like Amara feels like the person that bested her, I want to see that person win because it'll make me feel better. Like if that person just gets beaten by Pepper and she's like, God, like that sucked.
It's like if Louise wins, everybody's like, "Oh, boo!" Like, man, we should have got rid of you. But that's a good point. And
Yeah.
Amara does know Keke Palmer in real life, so maybe she wants to throw her friend's sister $100,000. I don't think that's out
She'll
of the
get
question.
invited to more parties now.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned Louise. Did Louise speak in this finale?
I think they had probably told her to sit this one out. Luis, I listened to you all talk about the Luis exit, and I was like, she really was feeling herself that episode. Like, I don't blame. I'm not the Luis exit, but the Amara exit, because Luis was really feeling herself that episode. It was so funny because I'm like, Amara was so upset, but she was just like, Luis, where do you get off? You could have been gone night 1. I saved you. I've never stopped saving you. And Luis is like, some of us just learn to come up with the clues on our own. We don't need you holding our hands. I'm like, actually, Luis, you need to take whatever you can get right now. And so, I think by that time, everybody's like, ma'am, just sit this one out. You're good. But she was fun. I love this entire cast. So I wish we had gotten more from them. And Jenny pointed out that we don't get a lot of they didn't go back to the clue wall and explain that.
Right.
I wanted the little montage of all the clues.
Yeah.
I still don't know what the pickle was in the mystery box challenge. Can you please help me?
I think it was Tiffany
Keke
Haddish likes pickles.
Yeah, it
I
was Tiffany
believe.
Haddish.
Who the hell don't like pickles? Everybody
No,
likes pickles.
she likes them a lot, I guess.
Like a Kiva level.
Yeah. I think she's also in a pickle right now.
I think she's definitely in a pickle at the moment.
She's in a tight spot for sure.
Yeah.
I saw that and was like, what? And then you hear Kai like, this is definitely the Tiffany Haddish clue. Like, this is mine. I was like, is she in a movie called Pickle? Is she Pickle Rick on Broadway? I need to know what's happening here because they never explained it. But I would like that. I would like for them to go in and highlight all the things that we might have missed or any tells that we should have saw. That would have been pretty cool because that's what they do on the mole and stuff.
Yes. Jenny, how about this? We never got to see Elsie's clue from the wine bottle.
Yes.
Wouldn't you have liked to have seen like Frankie Jonas, like, oh, and here was the clue that you never got to see? Like,
are we gonna get that on Twitter? I really
I hope so.
I need answers because I like the puzzles and I want to, it gets revealed at the end anyway. Like, yeah, like you just said, Frankie could have pulled it out and said, can you guys figure it out? Like, now you know who it is. Like, someone want to tell me what this says, like, to get the clue? I don't know. That would have been fun because I still don't know the clue wall. Were there any fake clues? Like, what was the gardening hat? Like, there's just so many things that I just didn't get.
Yeah.
Like, what were the clues for Cindy Crawford besides the crawfish? Like, at this point, I don't even know. Like, they just did they yada certain people, and when it came to the clue
I think there was a runway on the wall.
Was there? Oh, like a airplane runway?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well,
and that you make great points because I really have an issue with these winter clues because they were so obvious. So you pull it out and it's like orange is the new black. Wonder who that could be. And don't get me wrong, there are sometimes where people didn't get it, but I just thought they were so obvious. And
they weren't clues. They were like literally, this is who the person is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like in a way at home, I was kind of annoyed. Like, you're just giving it away. But then on the other hand, like, well, I mean, I think that makes the game kind of fun. Like, it makes it easy to digest in 10 episodes because you don't have them mulling over the same clue for 4 episodes. They're like, okay, we kind of got this person. We might not take them out, but we got them, And so I'm actually okay with it. They were so obvious, man. They just spelled them right out for you. I mean, that Orange is the New Black one was egregious. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, what?
And I think that, like, as we saw, them having information and knowing who certain people were didn't mean, okay, they're automatically out. In some cases, it did. As soon as they figured out X, they're like, he's a threat. Got to get him out. The clue definitely screwed him, I think. But I still feel like we saw people like Louise, who from the very first moment she walked in, everyone knew who she was, and she made it to the final 5. So I think that it didn't impact the gameplay, but I would have liked just some more closure on what all the clues were. There other things that we didn't see that were, and that's why I feel like an after show or a reunion would have been like really cool.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
listen,
Not
I
for
can't always
season
get what
one.
I want.
Yeah.
Jenny, did anyone pull the Louise clue? Like, who was the asshole who went in there, wasted their
No, I don't think they did. I think that they said that LC was the only person that like had an active clue in the game, but I don't think
Yeah,
that
'cause I
anybody
think-
ever
Louise
got
I
was
think
eliminated
Louise.
before
Louise's
the
clue was active,
Yes.
and then she went out. I think it was
Yeah.
it was just Louise.
Nobody
and
ever touched the
LC.
Louise clue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
That-
why are you wasting
Why
that?
would you?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Had Pepper won a challenge, that clue would have been gone in a heartbeat.
I gotta figure this out.
Like, why does everybody keep saying it's so obvious? I don't get it. And it literally says Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles. Like, is it Gabby Douglas? I just don't know.
I want to talk a little bit about the people coming back to the house that were eliminated, because I thought this was an interesting idea. And I thought it was, at first I was like, boy, it seems like very unfair that this is happening. But you had people coming back into the game that were going to potentially try to help their favorites win. Jenny, what did you think about like where we had Brittany coming back and trying to throw LC off of the track?
Yeah, Brittany's not slick. I don't know.
Neither
if it's
is
just,
her dad.
Yeah, I think there's something in the genes there.
The Wranglers.
Yes, the Wranglers indeed. No, I thought like I appreciate the effort. You know, she was one of, I think, 2 people that were rooting for Logan. And she was like, hey, Logan knew who I was very early, and he did his best to protect me. And I want to do my best to protect him. But I think that she maybe should have thought a little bit longer about like how she was going to throw off LC, because again, I guess like she's not going to know what kind of clues were going to come out in that challenge. I'm sure that when she saw that Jason Williams one, she's like, God, well, he's never going to recover from this. Like now they know his name is Jason. So that's like making my job a lot harder. But she did her best with the Luke Bryan of it all, but it making a little bit of sense because of the American Idol thing. But like, does anyone understand what she was talking about when she was like, who is the rapper? And I'm like, okay, first of all, what are you talking about? And then she's like, it's like he like the guy who sings but like raps. And then she mouths Luke Bryan. And I've been listening to more country music in the last couple of weeks than I have in my entire life. Phil is playing it every time we get into the car. I'm at my wit's end. I've heard various Luke Bryan songs at this point. Does he rap? I don't think he raps. What was Brittany talking about? Can anyone tell me? Because I don't know what she was trying to do there. I don't know if she was trying to like get her onto somebody else and then was like, this isn't gonna work. Okay, let's go with the Luke Bryan American Idol thing, like midway. But I am completely baffled by what she was doing there.
Maybe she was just trying to throw some like chum out there and see whatever she like latched onto. Like, oh, you mean Kid Rock? Like Post Malone?
Yeah, I wouldn't give Kid Rock a reality show, so I guess that's
it's on brand. It's on brand. Yeah, I think she hadn't decided how she was going to sabotage, so she was just reaching for something, and she's like, "Oh, I should go with Luke Bryan," and that's just kind of what she just word vomited. But I think that's very interesting too, because I mean, if you think about the strategy of the show, they never really talk about keeping around people who can help you later on, and by eliminating Brittany, they did Logan so much of a favor, because Brittany's the only person in this whole entire house that could get this question right. Just like how LC got rid of all the black people, because she was like, listen, nobody knows. They're not gonna know who Kika Palmer is. You think Logan and Pepper are gonna figure this out? No, I'm joking. But yeah, I thought that having them come back was like, okay, now I can go to the person who's knowledgeable about this and talk to them about it. I think I would like to see in the future the people be a little bit more mean spirited, like the 3 of us who want chaos, where we're just like, Keke Palmer, no. That's Raven Simone. You know, like, and the whole house is just throwing out random stuff because they're like, oh dear God, Pepper, just get it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that be funny? I
The
think Brittany's
birdhouse, Raven, come on.
exactly. Come on, it's right there, Pepper.
Mhm.
Don't be dumb. You know, I think I would like to see the whole house be in cahoots against the two people who are left and just like completely tank them. So no matter what happens, the losing guess is what we get. But I think Brittany went about it the wrong way. I think instead of telling LC directly this information, LC doesn't trust you. She hasn't trusted you since you tried the white woman tears your way out of that first lie you told in the second or third episode. But what she should have done was just like blurt it out while they were all sitting there in the jury section or whatever watching. She said, "Oh shit, Luke burned," and then like held her mouth and then,
Yeah.
"Was that Luke? Did she say?" Brittany said it, so you know we got her clocked. We don't like Brittany; she's diabolical, you know. And so I think that probably would have worked better than just telling LC up front. Because what reason do you have to tell LC? LC might have just been trying to suss her out. Like if she tells me this answer, I can't believe it anyway. Because why would she help me instead of Logan?
I think that they could have utilized the returning players a little bit better. And maybe they just thought that there was going to be more going on, like you're saying, like a lot more chaos, a lot more people getting involved. Because aside from Brittany and Michael, you know, doing their best to see if they could help Logan out, we didn't see any of the rest of them going to Elsie or Pepper to try to help them. Perhaps it still happened, but we also saw people being like we saw X being like, I'm not going to get involved. Like, how does this serve me? And he just like helps himself to food in the kitchen. Like, we just saw like a lot of them just like hanging out in the kitchen. And I'm just like, I wanted more. Like, I wanted to see, you know, we got like a few confessionals where they were saying like how they felt about them, like, you know, who they thought was worthy and all of that. And that's great. But I thought it'd be like so much cooler if we had, again, I know they're not a jury, but like we could have had them like asking questions of like the final three, like perhaps like, you know, as like an extra like thing before the guess off. I don't know. I thought that there could have been something. It just seemed like they all just went off into their own room and then like Elsie, Logan, and Pepper got ready. Like they put on their outfits and did their makeup and stuff.
Nice
and
outfits. Everybody looked really good.
everyone
for the
looked
finale.
great. Everyone
Yeah.
looked incredible, but we didn't even really get to see much of their interactions with the returning players aside from those two conversations they showed us. We just we saw them all eating in the kitchen. I was like, I could have seen more, but
Yeah. The time frame for the show is interesting. Like I feel like that did they film the show in 10 days?
it had to have been. Like I think each
Or it
elimination
might have
had
been
to
9
be
days.
Yeah, right, because they would have
Because
this was
it was 9 episodes, and then basically I guess the 10th episode was a different day. So
maybe 10 days. Yeah, no, because we were trying to figure that out because like the fact that they got sequestered, it's like how long were they keeping them without their phone? Like, I mean, I know that like on shows like Big Brother and Survivor, you're sequestered for a hell of a lot longer with even less, but you're not in Katy Perry's guest house. But I thought it was interesting to have them sequestered but have such a limited impact on like the rest of the show. Because like when they brought them in, and again, I thought there was a chance they were going to bring them back. They brought them back. I didn't see the preview, as we've discussed, and I thought, oh damn, this is going to have an impact on the game. And like perhaps the producers really thought they were going to, but it didn't really end up having an impact. The bugs were the MVP of the episode. Like they were the most impactful part of this finale.
I was more confused at what was the temperature outside while they were filming this, because some of them, like Amara's like in a bathing suit almost the entire time. And then people like the Joe Bros are wearing these huge sweaters and these coats and stuff like that. Like every night, y'all are all dressed for a different season. I don't know if they told X to bring a wetsuit, but he had one for the pool. I was just trying to figure out, okay, well, what did we prep for when we were coming to this event? Because it might have been 10 days, but it could have been at any time during the year, and I would have believed it.
Chappell, LA is weird, especially like in the beginning of the year where, you know, you have to like dress in layers because like it'll get to like, you know, a low of 40 and then like it'll get to like, you know, a high of like 78 like in the afternoon. So like it gets like, you know, kind of warm during the day, but then there's like no humidity. And so like the sun goes down and then it's like ice cold.
Yeah.
But like, is it like that just in certain times of the year? Because like I found it surprising that like, you know, if we're thinking it was like February or March or something like that when this was filmed, that like it was that cool in the evening that they were like shivering and like wearing jackets.
No, it
and stuff
gets
like
like
that.
real cold at nighttime, and then like but
Wow.
like when the sun is out and you're in the sun, like it's hot.
I
Mhm.
didn't get the impression that the pool challenge they were like sweating or anything. Like we said, like
No, I'm sure it was cold. Like I'm
X
sure it
was
was
in
like
a
yeah.
wetsuit, and
Yeah,
maybe he just
but
brings his wetsuit everywhere. I don't know.
but they spent every day sunbathing. Every time you cut
Yeah,
to them
that's
outside,
Mhm.
true.
they're just like laying out in the
But were they in
sun.
bathing suits or were they just like I
It
don't know.
depends on the person. You know, it
Mhm.
really depends on the person. That's why I was just like, when is what? And so
Yeah.
Well,
I
maybe
finally just gave it up.
Amara is like me and runs hot. Listen, I
Mhm.
don't know. She's like might just be one of those people
Mhm.
that's like
Yeah.
is
She also
warm at
might have
all
drank
times.
the most also.
How
Yeah,
dare you?
is that liquid blanket.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Chappelle, they did get to have a lot of drinks, I feel like, when they went to the guest off in this show.
Thank God. You know,
Mhm.
give them some energy. You know, this is taxing for these people. I mean, all of these people are rich to some extent. So you kind of want to make sure you pamper them. You
Yeah.
don't want them to feel like
Mhm.
this was a horrible ordeal that they didn't like, because then you can't do a season 2. So I was so happy when I saw that little casting call thing at the bottom of the screen where it's like, "Oh yeah, season 2 coming soon. If you are a celebrity and have a relative, or you're a relative of a celebrity, you want to come to the show," I was like, "What celebrity relative is sitting at home thinking like, yes, this is my chance?" And then they call up like Shia LaBeouf is like, it's our time. Like, I don't understand. But I'm
Mhm.
hoping that it happens.
I
Chappelle.
want to hear if that happened to someone. Like, I want the story of the like, yeah, I was just watching this and then I was like, wait a second, I'm related to Miranda Cosgrove, like,
Mhm.
like who's a person I didn't even know existed until, like before a few months ago.
Look, I'm telling you, white people make up people all the time. Nathan Fielder, Bo Burnham, these people just pop up, and I'm like supposed to believe that they existed before y'all started talking about them. Shenanigans. So if somebody
That
said
one
they
I
were
didn't
Bo
even
Burnham's,
know.
if some people say they were Bo Burnham's cousin or something, whatever. Shit,
Mhm.
okay,
Like, sure.
that's why I go out. I lose like this.
Coming to
Chappelle,
season 2.
is there one celebrity that you would really love to see one of their relatives be on season 2 of the show?
Oh, that's really hard because there were so many good ones on this one. Like I would have been attached to the hip with Amara because I would have wanted to know Whoopi Goldberg stories.
Yes.
I would just like once I figured it out, I'm like, I just had to pull this aside. Like, listen, I know who you are, but tell your granny I said hi. Type stuff like that. That's so cool. But I'm sure there are a ton of like other celebrities where we want to know these things. I'm sure there's a Wahlberg you would like to meet, Rob, or something, right?
Not
Is-
really, but
I don't know. Let's check the
I'm
news. Are they
fine.
doing anything good?
Yeah.
Well, we just saw his ass on Nothing But Netflix, so I felt like it was a topical
No
reference.
tattoo.
Yeah, no tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Jenny, did you know there was never mind. I was gonna ask you about the prosthetics, but we ain't gotta get into that.
Yeah. Not necessarily. Although imagine that clue wall, Chappelle.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Think
they're
about it.
like, I have a sneaking suspicion you're related to Mark Wahlberg. Whip it out.
Yeah. Boy.
Let me see it.
Is somebody related to Dick Clark?
Like, why is all the clues say Richard? I just don't understand. What are we getting at
Mhm.
here?
Oh,
He gave me a
Mhm.
shovel. Diggler? Who is that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know, Rob. What about you? Is there any world where a Survivor player is famous enough, right? Like, so who is our
Okay.
Survivor
All right.
person?
Let
who
me
could
give
do
let me
this?
give you the
Ooh.
short list. 1,
Okay.
Chase Rice.
I've also been listening to him.
What? Oh, what is Phil doing
Mhm.
to you? Are you okay?
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's a very serious situation here.
Yeah.
He's trying to convert me, and I don't consent.
And honestly, I don't know if there's okay, I guess like Jimmy Johnson.
Yes, I would be in there in tears. That's who I would. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would be like, oh my god, are you Jimmy Johnson's grandson? Because also I have questions about Survivor. He's like, what? My grandfather wasn't
Mhm.
on Survivor. Like, yes, he was. Shut up.
He was, trust me.
It would
And
never be a
then-
clue.
I know it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anybody else that would make the cut. I don't even think
Jeff
like a
Kent.
Boston
I was
Rob.
gonna
No,
say
Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent's not famous like
No.
that. I don't think
How
that
dare you.
Boston Rob would qualify for it. Maybe Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Mm.
I mean, they had one host of The View, Chappell.
Yeah.
We had one Jason Aldean as well. So there's already like a Venn diagram where she falls right in the middle of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that might be the short list. I'm sure we'll get some tweets of like, what about this person?
Yeah, there's got to be some other people.
Lisa Welchel, but I think she's probably like
she falls in
like,
that Venn diagram, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's probably like on the outside looking in.
No, that's probably a good point. Do you think Richard Hatch, the first winner of Survivor, would be a notable enough celebrity name?
I think at one point, I think that there's like too much baggage that I feel like that I don't think that they would have him for a season 2.
This is, I feel like, only if the caliber of celebrity for season 2 is like different than season 1, because like I think you can't throw Richard Hatch or like some of these former Survivor players into the same league as like some of the people we just saw. But if they are scraping the bottom of the no offense, but like if there's if they have to reduce their quality just to get the second season out, then maybe
don't do it. Right. We're talking about like Hollywood Walk of Fame, like caliber people.
Yeah.
I don't know like who we would say would be like the least famous of but there was not like anybody that was like a total like who?
Yeah. That is true. And I would suspect that maybe the caliber is better now that people have watched it.
I would think so too.
Well, I won't say better because this is probably hard to top this caliber. Like this is a pretty A-list lineup. And so I think if you could probably get another A-list or A+ list even, now that people have seen it and are like, yeah, go do that, because that might be good publicity for me, as a celebrity who might have a movie coming out or something like that. I mean, Keke Palmer's sister won the year that she drops her biggest project of all time. Zendaya's cousin was on there, when Euphoria is at the height of its popularity. So I think there are people on here that you could probably say we could see bigger in certain areas.
I think they could get bigger because I think that there might be, celebrities that are like the bigger the celebrity, the probably more protective they are of their image. And then the less likely somebody would want to be to like offend them. But when they show them like, hey, look at this, like they really treated the celebrities well. They celebrated the celebrities. They made a big deal when they got revealed. They didn't like make fun of anybody or trash anybody with sort of like cheap jokes. So I feel like that they really like even like elevated the profile of the celebrities. So Jenny, I think that they'll get better people for season 2.
I hope so. All of that makes complete sense. And I completely agree that the celebrities were treated, very, very kindly. And there was like great things said about them. The only thing we have to be concerned about is whether anyone is paying attention to perhaps a claim to fame curse, where it seemed like even in just the last couple weeks, some of these celebrities started making headlines out of like seemingly nowhere. So
was it a claim to fame curse, or was it just that we were paying attention to certain names? Celebrities that maybe we would not have been paying as close attention to?
Is it confirmation bias? Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I have to wonder if anyone is maybe saying like, oh, it didn't turn out so well for these people. Like they almost made it through the whole season.
But Jenny, had it been like the relatives like all getting in trouble, you would say like one thing. It's like, hey, it's the celebrities. You're like, that's on you.
Well, that's the thing is like the cast. Again, I can't say enough good things about this cast. Everyone was incredible. So, and no one, I don't think anyone acted in a way that would embarrass the celebrities whatsoever. The celebrities are doing whatever they need to on their own. Maybe Maxwell. Again, Chuck Norris still has no idea this happened. So
Grandmaster Norris did not watch.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we want to say about the season in review?
I thought this was incredible. Honestly, I like when I never would have guessed that I would actually like when you and Jenny talk about a good show. I'm so used to y'all talking about utter garbage, and I'm there for it. Again, Edge Lord, Edge Lady. I am a Millie Ganger, and now I am a fame horde, thanks to you all. And so continue this streak of finding good stuff, but if you want to go back to talking about trash, you always have a guest in me. So thank y'all for having me to come on for the finale. I've been jealously watching from the sidelines as everybody else got to come on here and talk.
No.
I was
Well,
like,
you started late. We
Yeah,
thought that you were
Chappell.
gonna miss the boat.
When
I
we
thought I
when
was
I
gonna miss
saw
the
that
boat
you were
too.
watching, I was like, why didn't he tell me? Like, why didn't I get a heads up? Like, I'm gonna dive into Claim to Fame. You know?
I know y'all love Mari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying she didn't have to be. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Mari
Are
cool
you
or
starting
whatever,
shit?
maybe. you gotta
That's
throw out a
unfair.
promo to Mari every now and then just to keep her on her toes. She'll cuss me out tomorrow. It'll be all right.
Okay.
No, it was incredible. I was so glad that, we got this 2-night finale and that there was a way that we could get this trio together because this feels like home.
Jenny, did you like it back to back? Because I'm a little worried that I feel like that they sort of like announced it so late in the game that it feels kind of like an afterthought and feels like that maybe it might be the kind of thing. I think the show did not get a good time slot, 10 p.m. I know it's on after The Bachelor, but 10 p.m. is not great, especially the finale, 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night without a reality lead in. I feel like is also not great. So I'm a little worried about the renewal prospects just because I feel like it didn't get like the greatest treatment from the network.
So from my perspective, I had no issue with the 2-night finale because I was just so excited to like see how it ended. But I do feel like the 10 o'clock slot the entire season wasn't great. It's not like, it just doesn't feel like a 10 o'clock show to me. And I don't know a lot about ABC's other lineup, but like I would love to see it. Okay, so if the Monday 8 to 10, that's always going to be Bachelor franchise. Like even bump it down to 9 o'clock, throw it on a Tuesday or something like that. Like I think that it would, and I think that there's been enough hype for it building because I feel like a lot of people like halfway through the season started watching it because they heard other people talking about it. And perhaps I'm just living in my own bubble of people that are paying attention and care about this. But I do feel like it was picking up enough momentum that I'm hoping that there was enough that they saw that they might try it again and say, let's see if it does even better in a different slot because I think that it would do better. Like, again, I almost never watched it live because I had ways not to. And also I don't want to watch a show at 10 o'clock.
And I'm, not in the programming department of ABC, but I kind of wonder if, instead of like pairing this with The Bachelor, I wonder if the next time they did a cycle of Dancing with the Stars, I feel like that this is a show that might pair better with Dancing with the Stars rather than be a show that follows The Bachelor.
Listen, if Dancing with the Stars is still on television and they don't bring back Claim to Fame, I will stage a protest. I don't know. I will go to Katy Perry's mansion and I will just camp outside until they come back. I don't know. I'll bring a coat because apparently it's cold at night.
Okay.
But I just think that it's such a quality show. Just give it another shot in another time slot.
Jenny, hold on. You're never gonna believe who's in Dancing with the Stars new cast.
Has the new cast already been announced?
I don't know. I want to make sure I confirm this. I'm on a website that says
we're doing spoilers. Dancing with the Stars spoilers.
I mean, I'm just saying
who's on
the cast. This is from August 31st, 2022. Let me just make sure I have it from another website before I officially announce it. I'm pulling it up too. Yes.
How do we feel about Stylecaster?
Yeah,
that was probably the first one that popped up.
Oh my God, I just saw. I think the name that you think I am going to react to. Shut up.
The son of
Make it stop.
Of the big guy? Is that what y'all talking about?
I mean, go for it.
Colton Underwood again?
Yes. Although
he's got over his fear of being on TV, so he needs to keep going, I guess. I don't know.
So, but I believe that Dancing with the Stars is actually not going to be on ABC proper. I believe it's going to Disney Plus, but that sort of changes the game a little bit of like, could Claim to Fame season 2 just stream to Disney Plus? Would that bother us?
No, but you know what's better? Claim to Fame takes Dancing with the Stars spot because it's going to Disney Plus.
I don't know if it really has a spot. If it's on
Okay,
Disney
well,
Plus.
whatever spot they would have made
But
for it.
yeah, drop it. I
Now
mean,
it's
they do that with
ours.
the Marvel shows and Star Wars, but yeah, drop it weekly. Don't just drop like the whole season on us and ruin it.
I know. I don't like that. I want the weekly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I want it to come back in some capacity. As long as it returns, I'll be happy. I don't really care where I have to watch it, but I would prefer it was on network TV to start. I would love them to try it again. I think that there will be more people watching than there was for season 1.
Okay. All right. Chappell,
Yes.
what's next for you?
I don't know. Are we talking about Dancing with the Stars as a family?
I don't think we need to.
I
Okay,
mean, Chappell did say he loves us talking about bad television.
don't do that. I'm a day one Dancing with the Stars fan. This is what you.
I
don't
mean,
know
I
about
watched
me.
it too, but it's just like I still feel like personally
Yeah.
attacked by the fact that could continue to be on TV and we could lose claim to fame.
Somehow
But anyway.
Chappell like lost a bet in 2004 that they basically he said that ABC, every show you put on this year, I will watch for eternity.
Yes,
And I just
it
was
seems
stuck
that way.
Well,
Mhm.
I got out. Don't get me wrong. I released myself from the clutches of Dancing with the Stars a long time ago. But if y'all want to talk about it, I'm here. But coming up for me, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm guesting on post show recaps this week to talk about Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragons show or whatever.
Yes.
We Josh Wigler, Latanya Starks, and I are comparing episode 3 of Game of Thrones proper to House of the Dragon. For some reason, and it's going to be a good time. And so I'm doing that on post show recaps. Also on post show recaps, I'm still talking about The Walking Dead. Tales of the Walking Dead is now going on. It's our anthology series on AMC. And so we're breaking it down every other week. Myself, AJ Mass, Jessica Leese, and Josh Wigler. And so if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, or if you're just a fan of the 4 people I just named, check it out. The anthology series has been fun. Trust me on this one. I would not lie to you, because when The Walking Dead is bad, I say it, and the reviews reflect that. And so check that out. Follow post show recaps for all of that stuff. I'm also going to be on the Shit 90s Shows Taught Me podcast very soon to talk about Matilda. I believe it'll be Jess Sterling, Sarah Ferguson, myself, and Latanya Starks again talking about Matilda and reliving the 90s in that way with those ladies over there on that podcast. So check them out. Also on Silent Podcast, talking about Never Have I Ever every week with Sasha. Sasha and I have been chugging along. We got episodes, I think 4 and 5 dropping this week. But if not, just subscribe to Never Have I Ever by Silent Podcast or to Silent Podcast to keep up with what we're doing. Leave us some ratings, all that good stuff. Rob and I are talking about Netflix shows here on Rob Has a Podcast. So Nothing But Netflix is the show that we host, and we currently just talked about Me Time with Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg, which is why we brought up his
Claim
ass
to Fame
and
season 2.
Yes.
Loved one.
America's ass, or so I've heard. Other, whatever. But Rob and I talked about that. We had to
get hooked up.
Let's get hooked up. We got hooked up this week, Rob, with Naomi Calhoun from Mike White Was Robbed. And so check that out as well. And I was just on the Big Brother live feed update a couple days ago, talking with Taryn about Big Brother 24. So check that out.
It was only
as
yesterday.
Well. Yeah, but I didn't know when this was going to release. People are going to listen to this tomorrow.
Tonight, baby.
No, it's tonight.
The diehard
This is the after show. This is the official Claim to Fame after show.
Yeah.
People are gonna be up all night after this finale.
Yeah, well, check it out. If you got some extra energy, check out me and Taryn talking about BB24 on this very network. And I think that's it. I'm sure I forget something. I always do. But yeah, and then follow me on Twitter at Chappell's_show to see me complaining and talking about all these other shows that I probably should have stopped watching a long time ago.
Okay. All right, Chappell. So nice to have you here for the finale. Jenny, I can't believe we've come to the end of the road for Claim to Fame.
It's bittersweet. Like I've loved every minute of it. Like Chappell said it at the beginning, like every episode was good. Like even the episodes where we kind of knew what was going to happen, there were no sleepy episodes. I had such a great time. We had so many amazing guests. It was so nice to be podcasting a show that other people actually wanted to watch. So we were able to have like so many quality people come on the podcast. It was really, really fun. And so now it's ending and I just don't know what to do with myself, but it's been great. So I don't know what's coming up next. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right.
I will actually, I don't know if this is, I feel like this is almost official. I will be, I am planning to be on the 90 Day Fiance podcast.
Oh, okay.
Next week. I'm gonna not get caught up on like the whole everything, but I'm going to be getting caught up on this current season enough to talk with Puya because
Yeah, it's only the 3rd episode.
yeah, no,
Mhm.
that's why he's smart in trying to get me early before too many
That is
episodes have
smart. That is
passed.
smart. Yeah.
And I'm like, I get overwhelmed. I'm like, 7 hours of TV. I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Mhm.
So that is planned. So that'll be the next thing I'm doing probably, and then Big Brother 24 as it gets to its end.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I don't know if anything else comes down the pipes, I will be tweeting about it
Keep your eyes peeled.
at Jenny Autumn on Twitter. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast and making it so fun to do this. And I love the Millie Gang. I love the Edge people, and I love you guys. And I'm just feeling so full of love and appreciation to get to talk about good shows and bad shows with wonderful people. So I'm
Look,
feeling full.
we have fun either way.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
exactly.
Doesn't matter how good
Like
the show is.
at this point, now I know that we can have fun, like podcasting a good show too. I'm like, anything goes. Like I'm
Anything
good.
goes. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us on this journey all season long, talking about Claim to Fame. For everything reality TV, be sure to check out Rob has a website.com. Subscribe to RHAP. All of our podcast feeds are available at robhasawebsite.com/subscribe. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.